All right, and as we were just mentioning a couple of minutes ago, we are tracking the threat of severe weather, and there is a tornado warning right now that is impacting parts of Delaware. Let's go ahead and look at that warning right now. You can see in the red polygon, this is a sliver of southern Kent County, Delaware, and this tornado has been confirmed. This coming to us from the National Weather Service. Right now, the tornado warning is until 6:30, which you can see on your screen there. And according to the National Weather Service, a confirmed tornado was observed by, we believe, somebody from the public, was located near Bridgeville or about 10 miles northwest of Georgetown. This reported cell is moving east at about 50 miles per hour. So if you're tuning in right now, where we have this red polygon, I'll zoom in a little bit more. This includes portions of southern Kent County, Delaware. And then as I kind of jog this a little bit farther, that's looking at Sussex County, Delaware right now. So a few of the communities: Bridgeville, Kings Crossroads, this is just west of Milton, Delaware, Hudson Pond Acres, Greenwood, and you can see this is just to the south of Milford. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this a little bit closer with our radar loop here. And you can see this cell as it's been progressing its way from Maryland on east. It's a pretty beefy cell that's moving through right there. It also has a lot of lightning with it. So this is why I said earlier, don't let your guard down. The sun might be out now, but things could escalate very quickly there. So we are watching this tornado warning that continues until 6:30. It's moving very quickly east at 30 miles per hour. And we can take a look at a couple of tornado safety tips as I look and see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service. So your tornado safety tips, if you're tuning in right now and you live in southern Delaware, specifically into southern Kent County or into Sussex County, you want to make sure that you are in your safe location, that being in a basement. If you don't have a basement, you want to get into the most interior room that you have. That could be a closet, could be a bathroom, or an interior hallway. You want to avoid windows at all costs. Again, this is a confirmed tornado, so you want to make sure that you are staying indoors and get under a sturdy object if you can. So I'm looking at a couple of the reports that are coming in right now from the National Weather Service. The most recent report being that a tornado was observed at 6:04 this evening. That tornado was located near Bridgeville or 10 miles northwest of Georgetown, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So as we zoom out and take a look at the radar here, you can see that we do have a number of cells that are moving through the region. To our north, all of these warnings right now are severe thunderstorm warnings. It's more so this cell that's really pushing its way toward the coast here. And honestly, looking at it right now, a lot of this is into parts of Sussex County. But we are going to stay with this tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service until 6:30 this evening. We can try and look at a couple of different products here to see if we can get a grasp of any of the debris associated with this cell. Unfortunately, it's looking like this was pretty close to the Dover Air Force Base, so we're not able to see any debris on there right now. But looking at a couple of other products here, our storm relative velocity. We zoom in a little bit here, where we have the notching of the red and the green there. That's where we're likely seeing a little bit of rotation, but I'm not seeing a strong signature of debris here. We'll go ahead and go back to our warning so we can get you the most important information at this point. That tornado warning is still in effect. And looking at, let's see, some of the reports coming in from the National Weather Service. Okay, we have a storm spotter that's 14 miles south of Big Stone Beach, Delaware. And that spotter is reporting that the tornado is just to the west of their position. So let's go ahead and see if we can bring the radar product back on here. And at this point, we're looking at the main cell, again, the worst of it, now into Sussex County, Delaware. So I'm going to go ahead and let's put a storm track on this. Whoop. going to put a storm track on this. This is moving east. We'll just bring it over to the coast. So there's a couple more communities that might be in the path of this cell that is capable of producing a tornado. So we're looking at 612 right now. You want to make sure you're in your safe location if you're in areas east of Greenwood, Delaware, also east of Bridgeville, Delaware. The tornado threat appears to be over for you right now as this cell continues to move its way to the east. So 617, we're looking at this severe thunderstorm that has produced a tornado that has been confirmed. 617 in Federalsburg, Delaware, 626 in Reynolds Mill, 631 in Wapples, and 638 in Prime Hook Beach. Again, this is in Delaware. The worst of the cell at this point appears to be in Sussex County. So we're going to go back and take a look at our radar once again, just so you can get an idea of some of these cells that are moving through. This is currently our only tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. This tornado warning came out by the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey at around 6:04. At 6:04 p.m., a confirmed tornado was located near Bridgeville, or about 10 miles northwest of Georgetown, moving east at 50 miles per hour. At this point, we're not seeing any updates on any kind of damage reports that have been coming in, or we're not seeing any kind of additional reports of visual confirmation with this cell. But we want to make sure that everyone is staying safe, as this tornado, again, has been confirmed to us by the National Weather Service via a storm spotter that noticed this cell about 10 minutes ago. So that tornado warning continuing until 6:30. This storm also is producing very heavy rainfall and also the threat of hail up to 1 inch in diameter. We just got another update from the National Weather Service at 6:12. A confirmed tornado was located over Ellendale, or 7 miles north of Georgetown, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and try and see if we can get some of those communities to populate here. So there we have Georgetown just to the north of it. All right. So areas around Ellendale, also Hudson Pond Acres. We're looking at Anderson Crossroads and the community of Wapples that I mentioned not too long ago. So we'll go ahead and put another tracker on here, see if we can get any additional locations to populate. Because this is so close to the coastline, I can only put it a certain distance. So the next communities that we're looking at in this time frame here are 626 in Reynolds Mill, 630 in Wapples, 639 at Prime Hook Beach, and at 644 in Oyster Rocks. At this point, this tornado warning is mostly encompassing portions of Kent County. You can see just, a portion of Sussex County, just a small area of Kent County, southeastern Kent County, still under this tornado warning. The National Weather Service is updating us, letting us know that there are reports of trees and wires down near Seashore Highway along Route 404 and Dublin Road, likely a tornado. We're also starting to get reports of damage in Sussex County. That's coming from the National Weather Service. So obviously this is a destructive tornado that has been moving through parts of our area early this evening. So I went over this before. We want to make sure that we're reiterating this information for you. You want to make sure that you're staying away from the second story of the home. You want to get to the lowest level. The most damage from a tornado occurs on the top floor. So that's why we always encourage you to get to your lowest level of your home. The basement's the best spot you can be, but if you don't have a basement, there's always the interior hallway or a bathroom. You want to get low and cover your head and stay there until that tornado threat is no longer an issue. So those are just a couple of tornado safety tips. As we go back and look at the warning here, at this point, the tornado warning still in place until 6:30. These warnings are issued by the National Weather Service, so we're going to stay on the air until the tornado warning is either allowed to expire or they deem that they can go ahead and cancel the warning. I imagine that it's going to stay in place because this tornado has been visually confirmed. So here we are again. This radar loop is showing us what this cell has looked like over the last 30 minutes, continuing to move its way closer and closer to the coast. Just for perspective, this cell is south of Milford, Delaware right now. Also the main part of it south of Slaughter Beach, but areas like Ellendale, also Wapples, Milton, also Broad Kill Beach are within the path of this storm cell that has produced a tornado. So if you're just joining us on the air again, we continue to look at the latest on this tornado warning right now with a cell that's moving its way throughout Sussex County, Delaware. This is moving east at 50 miles per hour. Some additional reports that we're getting in from the National Weather Service from Mount Holly, 4 miles southeast of Greenwood in Sussex County. An emergency manager is reporting at 6:06, so 12 minutes ago, reporting that a confined space rescue in the vicinity of Tucker Road, likely a tornado. So again, we are on the air right now with this tornado warning that's impacting parts of Sussex County, Delaware. At this point, you can see the tornado, the cell that went through Kent County, Delaware, is now pushing its way to the east. So if we go ahead and look at a couple more communities here that could be within the path of this tornado. We have a couple more times and locations populated for you here. 626, those in Reynolds Mill. Hopefully by now, maybe you took your phone with the app and our live stream. Hopefully you're in your basement right now. Again, this cell, this storm has produced a confirmed tornado. So 626, this will be moving its way through Reynolds Mill, 631 in Wapples, and 642 in Prime Hook Beach. This is just the first of what could be a very active evening here across our viewing area. I just want to make sure that you're seeing, if you're watching right now, maybe you're tuning in from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, southeastern PA, know that this is a threat for a lot of our viewing area for tonight. We do have a tornado watch that encompasses our entire area with the exception of Lancaster County and the Lehigh Valley. So through 10 o'clock tonight, we do have the threat for severe thunderstorms that will be capable of producing a couple of tornadoes here. So we are watching that threat very closely. Again, at this point, we still have that one tornado warning that's mainly over Sussex County, Delaware. This storm has produced a tornado. So we want to make sure that you, again, are in the lowest level of your home, staying with something sturdy, protecting yourself as this cell continues to race its way to the east. At this point, I'm not seeing any new updates from the National Weather Service. We've just gotten probably close to a handful of reports from people in the public that have observed the tornado. The most recent observed report that we had came in around 6:12 when that tornado was located over Ellendale, or 7 miles north of Georgetown. So you can see this cell is somewhat strengthening here as it gets its way a little bit closer to the coast. You can see that darker banding of purple. That's where we're seeing the most intense part of this storm, and that is just to the south of Argo Corners and north of Wapples. So we're still on the air here tracking this tornado warning, this storm that's moving east at 50 miles per hour over Sussex County, Delaware. You can see this is going due east toward the area of Prime Hook Beach. So if you're tuning in right now, you want to be in the lowest level of your home, preferably a basement, somewhere that's away from windows. We want to make sure that everybody is staying safe. I know I probably sound like a broken record here, but you've probably seen a lot of the devastating images that have been coming in from the Midwest. This is not as intensive as that, but you can see how destructive tornadoes can be. So we want to make sure that everybody that's tuning in right now is is in a safe location. If you're tuning in, again, this is for Sussex County, Delaware. So going over the tips once again, seek shelter right now. This is a confirmed tornado. You want to avoid windows, stay inside, get under a sturdy object, and stay there until that tornado warning is no longer in effect. All right, we're getting another update from the National Weather Service. Let me see if I can bring up this warning once again, and I'll look at the details. All right, so you can see that they've extended the tornado warning. And this is only for Sussex County, Delaware. So I imagine the sliver of southern Kent County that's under this tornado warning, you'll probably be allowed to expire at 6:30. But where we have that newly issued warning, that came in at 6:21. So just a minute ago from the National Weather Service. This again is for that confirmed tornado. This tornado producing storm was located near Ellendale or 9 miles north of Georgetown. It looks like the forward speed of this system has slowed down a little bit. Previously, it was moving east at 50 miles per hour. Currently, it's moving east at 35 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and zoom the map on out and zoom back in here. And this is very close to the coast at this point. I mean, there's not a whole lot of communities to populate for you here, but we will stretch it out. And it's giving us some of the same areas. Now, keep in mind, because the system has slowed down a bit, you're probably seeing some of the same communities that we went over not too long ago. 6:30, this will be reaching areas around Reynolds Mill. This is in Sussex County, Delaware. Wapples at 6:35, Prime Hook Beach at 6:44, and Broadkill Beach at 6:47. I know it's been a beautiful day. Hopefully people that might have been out by the beach just walking out and about this afternoon, hopefully they're getting word of this tornado warning that's moving through their community. I want to see if maybe we can get a few different products to show up here. Again, unfortunately, because this is so close to the radar site in Delaware, we're not able to see the storm relative motions. Usually I can see the rotation within the cell here. We'll look and see if there's any debris by looking at our correlation coefficient product. And again, very difficult here. As you can see, this is right by the radar site in Dover, Delaware. So we're not able to check that out. But we still want to make sure that we're getting you this important information here on the air with this confirmed tornado that came in. This warning came in not too long ago. I'm going to go back and look at the initial warning. This tornado was initially confirmed at 6:04 this evening. So we've been on the air now with this tornado warning for about 21 minutes. At that point, it was located near Bridgeville, or 10 miles northwest of Georgetown. We're not getting any additional damage reports at this point, but there have been some reports of trees and wires down. We haven't gotten any specific locations, but a couple of damage reports coming in from the National Weather Service there. So we're going to zoom the map on out, just make sure that we don't have any other additional tornado warnings in our area. You can see across southeastern Pennsylvania toward Philadelphia, we're watching severe thunderstorm warnings up that way. Looking at some of those warnings that are coming through, I'm not seeing them having any tags with them that could say tornado possible. So that's good news. The cells that we're seeing around Philadelphia and the northwest suburbs, those are most likely going to be producing damaging wind gusts here. So we're going to zoom back in and look at our tornado warning here that is so close to moving offshore at this point. Again, the National Weather Service did extend the tornado warning for Sussex County until 6:45. Looks like we have another storm report coming in. And when I'm reading these reports, they're coming in from the National Weather Service chat room that I'm in that provide us with information to make sure the public knows what's happening in real time. So 2 miles southeast of Bridgeville, In Sussex County, there's been a reported wind gust of 98 miles per hour, and that came from the Nanticoke River. So a lot of times along major interstates and roadways, there are weather stations. So that must have picked up, the Mesonet picked up a 98 mile per hour gust. So it's likely that within that location around Bridgeville, that's where that tornado passed by, and that's where we were able to get a measurement of a 98 mile per hour wind gust. So again, if you're just tuning in right now, we're watching this cell that is very closely working its way toward the coast of Sussex County, Delaware. You can see it is south of Slaughter Beach. This is moving east at 35 miles per hour. So this is now east of Ellendale, so you are in the clear at this point. You might still have some rumbles of thunder in your community, but we're primarily looking at areas around Wapples right now. This is really as tight as I can zoom in. Jefferson Crossroads, we've mentioned Prime Hook Beach and also Broadkill Beach. So we'll go ahead and try and put another tracker on this to see any amount of communities that might pop up, additional communities that might pop up. So right now it's 6:27. We have this tornado warning until 6:45, 6:28 in Jefferson Crossroads, 6:45 in Prime Hook Beach, and 6:50 at Broadkill Beach. I would imagine at this point by 6:50 the cell will likely be offshore. And I'm not seeing any additional reports from the National Weather Service. So that might mean that nobody has visually spotted this tornado within the last couple of minutes. That's always a good thing. That means that people are likely in their safe location where they're supposed to be. And if you're joining us now, we want to make sure that we're passing on this information to you. This is a confirmed tornado that has been confirmed in Sussex County, Delaware. This also picked up a wind report of 98 miles per hour just a couple of minutes ago in the area around Bridgeville. So this cell, this tornado, has been producing, as we can see, strong winds, as any tornado would produce, but it's also producing some damage. We have had some reports of wind and tree damage throughout Sussex County. So seek shelter now. Go to your basement, your closet, and interior hallway. Avoid windows and stay there. And stay indoors. If you're outdoors, you want to get indoors and you want to get under a sturdy object. So we're going to bring the view wide once again to look at our weather that we're tracking here. And currently, this is our only severe thunderstorm. This is our only tornado warning that we're tracking right now. We do have a line of severe thunderstorms that are moving their way across southeastern Pennsylvania. And at this point, the National Weather Service is continuing their tornado warning, and they're likely continuing this because it was an observed tornado.
And Brittany, a couple quick questions as you move on and continue to progress here. From someone who's not a meteorologist, so I understand, when we say a tornado, does that necessarily mean it touched down in the area?
Yeah. I mean, when the
sometimes you see them up in the sky and they don't touch down and they're categorically
right. When we say that there's a tornado warning, a lot of times it can be issued because one, the radar is just detecting the fact that the atmosphere is turning and twisting. But this particular cell that we're tracking right now, this has been spotted by somebody. So somebody did see visually. We haven't had any reports of somebody taking pictures on social media, but somebody did see the tornado. They did tell the National Weather Service. And as I mentioned, we've had about a handful of reports of this visual confirmation.
Okay, so the confirmation is visual. It's been reported to the National Weather Service.
It has been reported, and you know, we're getting those reports of 98 mile per hour wind gusts. So, you know, this is something that, and just as I'm saying this, somebody's reporting to the National Weather Service that they're receiving reports of structure damage in northern Sussex County. They don't have any addresses at this point. So,
and also, I don't want to be alarmist, but it seems like it's moving in a trajectory toward South Jersey, toward Cape May. Should people in Cape May be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, everybody should be concerned at this point because we do have that tornado watch. You know, it does look like this particular warning is kind of moving a little bit due east or northeast. So those in Cape May will have to be on alert. Right now, they're just experiencing some rain showers, but there's no tornado threat currently in Cape May County.
And once again, as a non-meteorologist, that's where I'm coming from with the questions. What constitutes the need to go into a tornado alert with this one cell as opposed to what's coming our way further north across our region into the Poconos? Because I see a front moving through, but it seems like it seems very isolated.
Well, this particular cell's isolated. So with the tornado warning, you know, you obviously have something twisting and turning in the atmosphere. Right. Because this has been visually confirmed, that's when we know we have to go on air and tell people, look, somebody spotted this. This can pose the threat of destruction, but by no means do we want to overshadow the fact that we also have, I mean, I'm zooming it out right now. You can see the line of thunderstorms that Walter's talking about. Those cells that are moving through areas northwest of Philadelphia, they're not rotating right now, so they're likely producing straight line winds, but they still pose the risk of 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts.
And is this the same front that came from way out west that caused all that damage?
It's the same system that we were tracking yesterday in the Midwest, kind of in a shell of its former self, if you will. I mean, there were hundreds of storm reports out there, but yeah, this is a leading edge ahead of a cold front. So the problem with today is we had rain in the morning, and then the sun came out. And when you see sun and you know that there's a threat of severe weather, you know that that sun is just acting as making for a more unstable environment. So because the sun came out today and because temperatures got into the 70s, we have that instability. We have a southwest wind before we add any twisting and turning to the atmosphere. So it was already a windy day. It doesn't take much to get a little bit of spin.
And that was going to be my next question. What fuels something like this? Because we hear about tornadoes all the time when they're out in the warm water, that fuels them. With this, it's warmer, dry temperatures before the front goes through. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got the warmer temperatures. We've also got the amount of moisture that's available in the atmosphere today. The dew points are going up a little bit. And like I mentioned, we have those winds. So we already had southwesterly winds gusting over 30, 40 miles per hour. You add a little bit of spin in the atmosphere, that's where you get that rotation. So
and that creates the spin. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of picking at your brain because I really don't know much about tornadoes.
Hold your thought.
I did work in Miami. I learned a lot about hurricanes, but I don't know much about tornadoes.
Yeah, I want you to hold that thought real quick because we just got another tornado warning that has been issued here. So this one is until 7 o'clock. So let me look at this information real quick. This just came in from the National Weather Service. So again, I'm on the National Weather Service chat room. For those of you that might be wondering, what is she reading? Where is she getting this information from? This allows me to basically see in real time what's being reported, what they're putting in their warnings. I'm having difficult with my mouse right now. Stand by. Sorry about that. Technology issues. Okay, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Newcastle County and northern Delaware, also southwestern Chester County and southeastern Pennsylvania. So we're talking about a much bigger population here. This is until 7 o'clock. I'll be able to zoom in and give you some more communities in just a second. Let me just read what's coming in right now. At 6:33, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Rising Sun, or 11 miles north of, please excuse me, Havre de Grace, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So unlike the cell that we saw in Delaware, this one has not been visually confirmed. This has been picked up by the National Weather Service Doppler radar that this cell is capable of producing a tornado. So before I go up there, I just want to show you the fact that the tornado threat is really moving offshore right now from Sussex County, Delaware. We will watch and see if that particular cell causes any issues in Cape May County, but right now that does not appear to be a threat. So I'm zooming in just to get an idea of how the radar looks here. And we're going to put this on the current frame. And this cell right now is moving east at 35 miles per hour, so we're going to put a track on it. All right, so this tornado warning encompasses about 17 miles of territory if you take it due east from where the heart of the storm cell is. Please excuse me if I'm mispronouncing any communities. 642 Sylmar, 646 in Calvert, 653 in Elk, 656 in Fair Hill, and 704 in London, Britain. Now, when I say some of these communities, they also might be townships. That's just how this populates in our system. If I read off any of your communities, you want to make sure that you are in your safe location. This tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service, and it continues until 7 o'clock. It is moving east at 35 miles per hour.
And can we clarify, Brittany, the difference between a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning?
A hurricane?
I mean tornado, excuse me.
Yeah.
This is a warning.
This is a warning. So a tornado watch, which we have for a good portion of our area, means that conditions are favorable for a tornado to be produced. When we have a tornado warning, you're looking at one cell in particular that has the capabilities. It can be twisting, it can be turning, and that cell can produce a tornado. So it's the cell within the tornado watch that we have for our area. So we're going to go ahead and play this out just so we can see how the storm is progressing. And then there you can see that tornado warning. It's in the red polygon. So we're kind of looking at the area right in here. I know it's a little difficult to see with all the different colors. You know, obviously the reflectivities that you see in the background. This is intense rainfall that's also coming down right now. So we're looking at that area in, again, parts of Chester County. Let me go ahead and read it again. All right, so we're looking at northwestern Newcastle County and northern Delaware, and also southwestern Chester County and southeastern Pennsylvania. I can read some of the other locations that the National Weather Service included within this warning: Newark, Oxford, West Grove, Glenroy, North Star, Landenberg, Mount Vernon, Kemblesville, Pike Creek, Hockessin, Avondale, Kenmon, and yeah, I tried.
That was good.
And Brookside. This tornado warning also includes Interstate 95 in Delaware near mile marker 5. So again, this is the latest tornado warning that we are watching right now in Chester County and also into parts of northern Delaware. If you were joining us earlier when we were breaking into coverage for the tornado warning in Kent County, Delaware, and Sussex County, that has been allowed to expire. We haven't received any additional damage reports from Delaware, but we do know that there was a tornado confirmed to the National Weather Service. So again, as Walter was mentioning earlier, you know, what's the difference between these warnings that we have in the red polygons and the watches? Everywhere that's painted in this yellow is currently under a tornado watch, and that's until 10 o'clock tonight, and that includes our entire area with the exception of Lancaster County, Berks County, Lehigh County, Northampton County. The Poconos also not included in that. So for those that are joining us right now with this tornado warning, again, that one was allowed to expire. It didn't update just yet. This is the area that we're looking at. So this is kind of a cleaner view for you without the precipitation overlaid in the background. So that tornado warning continues until 7 o'clock. Again, this is for portions of southeastern Chester County and also northwestern Newcastle County, Delaware. So we'll see if we can look at any of those products that we weren't able to see when we were looking at Delaware. Not seeing anything that stands out, looking like I'm not seeing any strong rotating signatures. And then this product that I'm looking at right now is the what we call the correlation coefficient. It gives us an idea if there's any debris being wafted into the air. And I'm not seeing any kind of strong debris signature right now. So that's a good thing. It's also a good thing that we haven't received any reports of damage from the public. Hopefully that means that people are in their safe location at this point. The time right now is 6:41. The tornado warning that we're tracking right now continues until 7 o'clock, so we will be staying on the air until that tornado warning is no longer in place. We do not get to decide when those warnings end, how long they go for. We reiterate the information that the National Weather Service passes along to us. So some tornado safety. I can say this over and over and over again, I know, but this is critical information and very important information. If you're tuning in right now and you're living in a community under a tornado warning, I know if you have the 6ABC app, it would have went off if you were under that tornado warning. Hopefully right now, maybe you're watching our streaming on our 6ABC app in your safe location. The safest place that you can be during a tornado is a basement. Unfortunately, not everybody has a basement to go to. So if you don't have a basement, you want to get into something like a closet, an interior hallway, even your bathroom, but you want to avoid somewhere that has windows, because if there is a tornado, of course, those winds could cause windows to break and for glass to scatter about. So you want to stay indoors, get under a sturdy object, and you want to stay there until that tornado threat is no longer in place. So we'll go ahead and look at that tornado warning once again. All of the orange areas that you're seeing right now, extending from Maryland to central New Jersey, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are not producing any kind of tornado threat. They're producing more in the way of damaging winds. But here in this red polygon, that is where we have a tornado warning. So again, that is until 7:30. That coming to us from the National Weather Service office in Mount Holly. And we're going to go ahead and look at the radar, and I'm going to try and get a few more communities to pop up here. So we're going to put this on the latest frame.
But by and large, Brittany, we're talking about western Chester County and northern Delaware, right, for this most recent tornado warning?
Yeah, right now we're looking at, if you kind of look at that red polygon right in here, let me see if I can put a pointer. So we're looking at this area. This is northwestern Newcastle County, and then as we kind of jog our way a little bit farther northwest, that's the part of southeastern Chester County that we're looking at right now.
Is that moving directly east, or is that going northeast?
It's moving east right now. At least that's the latest update that came in from the National Weather Service. When they put out this tornado warning, it was a cell at 6:33, so 11 minutes ago, a cell that was capable of producing a tornado. It was located over Rising Sun, and it was moving east at 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to try and see if we can get a few more places to pop up in this warning. And we know that it's moving 35 miles per hour. All right, so there are some new communities that are within the path of this storm cell that is capable of producing a tornado. Unlike the cell that we were tracking not too long ago in Kent and Sussex County, that was a confirmed tornado. Somebody actually was looking outside their window. Somebody might have been outside. They visually confirmed that tornado. This has not been confirmed by anybody in the public, so that's good news. But if you see your community in this list, you need to be in the safe location that we talked about not too long ago. So 6:53, this storm will be going over the community of Elk. You can see it's pretty much knocking on your doorstep at this point. It's probably raining very heavily. You might not even be able to see it, but you don't want to be able to see it because you want to be in that safe location away from windows. 6:57, New London. 7:01 in Kemblesville, 7:04 in London, Britain, and 7:11 in Pike Creek. All right. We're getting another tornado warning. All right. Let me clear this out. All right, stand by, everyone. We do have another tornado warning that is being issued by the National Weather Service. So you can see this other red area, again, a very highly populated area, an area that also went through severe weather just a year or two ago. Tornado warning. This includes portions of Bucks County, Mercer County, and also Burlington County. I'm going to open up this warning. This just came in from the National Weather Service.
And as you mentioned, that's a really highly populated area.
Yeah, it is.
From that stretch from Buckingham to Trenton, that's a lot of people.
Right.
And to be clear, this is the warning at this point. We haven't confirmed anything seen, anything reported as in terms of a funnel cloud or anything like that. Right now, it's just a warning, correct?
Yes, it's just a warning, but we have to take this warning
very seriously
in our head that this cell can produce a tornado.
Sure.
So
I just want to be clear with what we're saying.
Absolutely, yeah. Nothing has been visually spotted with this particular cell, but this just came in from the National Weather Service. So I'm reading this as I'm getting it. A tornado warning for central Mercer County in central New Jersey, north central Burlington County and southern New Jersey, and then we're looking at southeastern Bucks County in southeastern Pennsylvania. This tornado warning is until 7:15, so 6:47 right now. We're looking at a tornado warning in this area for about the next half hour or so. At 6:43, severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage were located over Richboro, or 13 miles west of Trenton, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Some of the roadways in this vicinity, the New Jersey Turnpike between exits 7 and 7A, Interstate 195 in New Jersey between markers 0 and 2, and Interstate 295 in New Jersey between mile markers 55 and 76. As we've been reiterating, this is a largely populated area, especially into Mercer County there, including Trenton, Ewing, Princeton, New Jersey, Bordentown, Pennington, Yardley, Newtown. I'm just reading some of the communities in the National Weather Service post. Tullytown, Langhorne, Ivyland, Washington Crossing, Woodside, Richboro, Whitehorse, Mercerville, Hamilton Square, Langhorne, Levittown, so parts of Bucks County, highly populated areas as well. Lawrenceville, Florence, Roebling, and Morrisville. So as we just mentioned, we do have a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. I'm going to zoom in and bring in some of our towns that we've been doing. We're going to put this on the latest frame. So the area that we're looking at is right in here. This is the warning. So south of Perkasie. This looks like it extends just to I-95, the outer periphery of the warning. So that gives you an idea of where we're looking at. And if we look at this cell, that's moving east at 40 miles per hour. All right, you can see some of the towns that just popped up. So if you see your town and the time right next to it, that's when the worst of it will be moving through your area. So 6:57 in Wrightstown, 7:01 in Newtown, 7:08 in Lower Makefield, 7:11 in Ewing, and at 7:16 in Trenton, New Jersey.
Once again, very highly populated areas. And just to be, a little bit more in terms of informational, is this unusual, Brittany, for this time of year? I know a couple of years ago we had that spate of tornadoes. In this time of the year, early April, is that unusual?
It's not unusual. April is typically the start of severe weather season, but typically you don't see things kind of going off with a bang, if you will. You know, when we had that tornado.
Especially around here, because a couple of years ago we had that spate of tornadoes.
Yeah, that
nothing for a couple of years, and here we are with these warnings.
Right. You know, that particular outbreak in 2021, that was in the summertime. So deeper into this severe weather season, you have already had storms by then that have produced maybe a couple of tornado warnings here or there. But, you know, today's April 1st. It was a beautiful afternoon outside. outside, people might have let their guard down, and that's why we're taking this very seriously. Tornadoes can happen any time of the year. I think we had one this winter in February, just with how mild things were. So it's not unheard of. Maybe a little bit earlier in the season than what we're used to, but you know, Mother Nature does her thing, so anything can happen. So I'm going to put up the tornado watch right now so I can look at some of the storm reports that are coming in from the National Weather Service. At this point, I'm seeing no tornado damage. I'm not seeing any confirmed tornadoes. So far, just a pea-sized hail report from Landenberg and Chester County. The bigger concern with this tornado warning right now that's over Burlington and Mercer County is going to be the threat of not just a tornado, but also straight line wind damage. So I'm going to go back to the radar.
And in my experience, straight line winds can do nearly, if not as much damage as a tornado. I guess the difference being it's just kind of a more concentrated area, right?
Yeah, and usually with straight line wind damage, one indication of it is, you know, when the National Weather Service goes out and does their surveys, the trees will all be
same direction.
Yeah, they all fell down the same direction. But with the tornadoes, you have that spin in the atmosphere, so that's where you see more of the tornado debris signature.
It's also fair to say it's a more concentrated area with straight line winds?
You know, sometimes, but as we're seeing with this warning, I mean, they're not just tagging it for a tornado, they're also tagging it for straight line winds, and we're talking about a couple of different counties here. So I'm going to go back and make sure that we're covering all grounds. There are 2 tornado warnings right now. So this one is right here. Let's go ahead and take off the radar. All right, so it's just me controlling all this, so bear with me if I take any pauses. All right, so we still have this ongoing tornado warning, this one continuing for another 7 minutes from the National Weather Service. I'm going to see if they've issued any additional information. This cell has not had any confirmation of a tornado. But this cell is still capable of producing a tornado. So I'm going to open up the latest information on this cell. And the last update from the National Weather Service came in at 6:46 with a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Fair Hill or near Newark, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So that tornado warning again for a cell capable of producing a tornado. Nothing has been visually confirmed, but that's just one cell that we're looking at right now. So we are going to look at what else is going on and get our bearings, because we have that tornado warning, and then again this one in a very populated area. This coming to us from the National Weather Service, a tornado warning until 7:15. You can see some of the areas in that tornado warning, including Northampton, Newtown, Grant, Ewing, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, also Lawrence, and Bordentown.
And Brittany, just to kind of recap the whole thing, at this point so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3 warnings, correct?
We've had a total of 3 tornado warnings tonight, yes.
3 warnings tonight, one in the central or southern part of Delaware, where there were 2 reported tornadoes that were reported to the National Weather Service.
We did have visual confirmation from that cell in Kent County and in Sussex County, Delaware. So I'm able to come to you on the screen right now. Thank you to our graphics producer, Paul, for coming in to assist with this, because this is a very active night across our viewing area. You can see we have 2 red polygons where there are tornado warnings. Where we have the orange, that's where we're dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning. So a lot of our area dealing with some bumpy weather. Looking at this cell here in that red polygon, Chester County, also into Newcastle County, Delaware, we have a tornado warning until 7 o'clock. So we're watching that. And then we're also watching this cell here. Again, a tornado warning. Nothing has been visually confirmed, but this cell is capable of producing a tornado. So we're looking into Mercer County, also into Bucks County here, into New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania, and then also including just a tiny sliver here of northern Burlington County, New Jersey. So you can see there's a lot going on the radar right now. What's kind of happening is we have this area that's kind of forming a line, if you will, that extends from Maryland all the way up toward New York City. And it's moving fairly quickly right now. I mean, within the next couple of hours, we've been kind of using the time frame of 9 o'clock. This will likely be off the coast, but from now until then, that's when we are going to be dealing with the threat of severe weather. So looking at the live scan, even the areas in between where we have the tornado warning, we do have the threat of heavy fall, thunder and lightning, and also very strong winds. So we're looking at a radar loop here going back within, let's say, the last hour or so, within the last hour, and this is moving its way to the east. And you can see this one, the one cell here, northeast of Philadelphia. Paul, is that the cell that we're looking at that's moving towards, moving a little bit closer to Mercer County there? Yeah, so you can see just west of Trenton where we're getting that purple and the reflectivity, that is that thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. So that's the area of concern right now, moving its way toward Trenton, New Jersey. Looking at the storm relative velocity, it's kind of this area right in here where we're seeing the storm motions, where we're seeing the actual rotation within the radar. Green being the winds moving toward the radar, red away. And right in here is where we're looking at that vivid rotation. At least that's what appears to be the rotation for us as meteorologists. So we're looking right in the area of Lower Makefield. If you're listening to us right now, I hope that you're in your basement. This could be a tornado. This cell is capable of producing a tornado. So we're looking at Stony Hill Road right in here. Looks like just to the east of Langhorne Yardley Road. And then it looks like where we have this rotation right now over Big Oak Road, also Edgewood Road. You're within this path of where we're seeing some of this rotation. It's actually moving very quickly as Paul continues to kind of move its way farther east. So, okay. We've got another tornado warning, and this looks like it includes portions of, I want to say, Philadelphia County into Burlington County. And we looking at Camden County there too, Paul?
Yes, parts of Camden, Burlington, and Philadelphia.
All right, so we're looking at a tornado warning now for parts of Camden, Burlington, and Philadelphia County. This was issued by the National Weather Service within the last couple of minutes, and this is just east of Philadelphia here. You can see here's Philly. Here's where we have that tornado warning.
That's moving southeast at 50.
And it's moving southeast at 50 miles per hour. So if you're just joining us on the air right now, we have, I believe, a total of 3 tornado warnings, unless one of them was able to expire. And right now we're looking at the storm relative velocity, basically the wind movements within the storm. And we use this just as kind of a tool in our toolkit to see where there could be some rotation. And it's a little bit difficult to make out right now, but I would think maybe we're looking at kind of right in here, maybe seeing some of that rotation. So that would be just to the east of Interstate 95 right now. So we're looking at the threat of a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. This tornado warning, or this area that we're looking at with the rotation, mainly looking like it's moving its way into parts of Burlington County. So what Paul's doing is putting a tracker on this system so we can give you a couple of different communities so you can make sure that you're in your safe location. So right now the time is 7:01. We're looking at 7:08 in Moorestown, 7:11 in Mount Laurel, Medford 7:16, Pemberton 7:22, and 7:28 in Browns Mills. That is for the tornado warning that we just put a tracker on here just to the south and east of Philadelphia. We also still have a tornado warning north of that area. So there you can see kind of a broad view just to give you your bearings of what area we're looking at here. The yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Where we have the red is where we're most concerned right now for the threat of a tornado. So the cell that's east of Philadelphia into Camden County, Philadelphia County, and Burlington County, that is until 7:30. These are producing very heavy downpours right now, so the chances are you might not be able to see what's coming toward you, but you don't want to be near windows right now. In addition to the threat of the tornado, we also have the threat of damaging straight line winds, which could cause as much damage, if not more damage, than what a tornado can cause. So we've gone over this a lot tonight. We started in Delaware. Now the tornado threat is impacting parts of New Jersey and also southeastern Pennsylvania. So with our tornado safety tips, what to do if you're under a tornado warning, again, it doesn't mean that it's been visually confirmed, but you want to act as if there is a tornado coming to your community. So right now you want to seek shelter. The best place that you can be is in a basement. Not everybody has a basement, so you want to get into a closet or an interior hallway, even somewhere like a bathroom, but you want to stay away from windows because with these winds, the windows will be the first things that get blown out. You get glass everywhere, and that's why when you stay in that spot, you want to put something sturdy over your head and protect yourself. Stay indoors, and you want to stay in that safe spot until the tornado warning is no longer out there. We don't control when the tornado warnings are issued or when they expired. We just pass along the information to you from the National Weather Service. So another product that we're able to look at here are the hail tracks. I haven't seen any large hail reports. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but it looks like most of the hail reports today have been around 1 inch or less. But if we look at the timestamp here, this is kind of going back in time to right now. This is giving us the idea that these storms that are moving their way east from Lancaster through Chester County, now towards parts of Mercer and Burlington County, these storms have had a history of producing hail. Again, the hail hasn't been too significant. We're more concerned about that tornado threat and also that damaging wind threat as well. So go ahead.
Tornado warning was canceled for parts of Philadelphia. It's only into Burlington County.
Okay, good news. So the tornado warning has been canceled for parts of Philadelphia and Camden County. So now we're just looking at that tornado warning and this red polygon right in here. So we're looking at Burlington County in New Jersey. This continues until 7:30. This is still a cell that has not had visual confirmation of a tornado, but this system is capable of producing that twisting and turning in the atmosphere. Hail, not a big problem, but damaging winds, a problem with this as it continues to move its way to the east. So right now we're looking at the worst of the conditions kind of moving their way along and just east of I-95.
This is moving 55 miles an hour.
Okay, so this system's racing. It's moving 55 miles per hour. We put a couple of other locations here on the map for you. 712 West Hampton, so you have 7 minutes to get to your safe location. Hopefully you're there by now. 714 in Lumberton, 722 in Pemberton, 728 in Browns Mills, and 731 in Country Lake Estates. So at this point we are looking at New Jersey, where we're seeing the worst of the weather with this tornado warning. Again, that's moving at about 55 miles per hour. All right, looks pretty nasty over Trenton right now. Some of that reflectivity is purple, so likely in Trenton you don't just have the tornado threat, you also have the potential of the hail and also those damaging straight line winds. It looks like maybe we're looking at the rotation right in here, so between Fieldsboro and south of Trenton, we're getting some of that spin in the atmosphere, green being those winds going toward the radar, red going away from the radar. So we'll look at that particular spot where we have rotation being depicted by Doppler radar, and then that'll give us a better sense of what communities really need to be in their safe spot. So 7:06, this will be moving over Sylvan Glen, 7:09 in Yardville, 7:16, excuse me, in Allentown, 7:21 in Upper Freehold, and 7:32 in Woodare Estates. I know I just said Allentown. This is in New Jersey. This is the tornado warning that we're watching in New Jersey right now. And this tornado warning is moving out of, I believe that's, southern Bucks County into New Jersey. So if you're just joining us on the air right now, we've been on the air probably for nearly an hour or so. We have had at least one confirmed tornado that was in Kent and Sussex County, Delaware. We had a warning previously that was over Newcastle and Chester County. That one was allowed to expire. And then at this point, we're watching two tornado warnings that include portions of southeastern Pennsylvania and also into New Jersey. So the weather getting very active here. This is why we have been concerned about the threat of severe weather for today. We have the tornado watch that continues until 10 o'clock tonight, and we have those current tornado warnings. So here's the tornado watch that we have right now. This is until 10 o'clock tonight. We talked about the difference earlier between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. The tornado watch being that conditions are favorable for any thunderstorm to produce a tornado. Where we have a tornado warning, when we're showing you those red polygons, that's where we have a cell that either one has been confirmed as a tornado.
62-mile-an-hour gusts just at Philadelphia International.
Okay. Yeah, so Philadelphia, not in that warning, but the airport picked up a 62-mile-per-hour gust. So although we're not dealing with any kind of tornadic activity in places like Philadelphia, we've been talking about straight line winds and how the thunderstorms outside of the tornado warnings are capable of producing, if not as much damage as a tornado or more. So we could be dealing with reports coming in with a lot of trees and power lines down. Right, what we're zooming in right now is the number of lightning strikes. You can see a pretty good cluster of lightning right now over Philadelphia County, also into parts of Bucks County. Some of that lightning now getting into Burlington County. So a lot of active weather here across our area within the last hour or two. So we continue to stay with you on the air here at 6 ABC. If you are in any of those areas currently under a tornado warning, you can bring your phone, your tablet with you and stream our coverage live in that safe location until the tornado threat is no longer out there. So here we are again looking at the tornado warnings. It looks like maybe has one of them been extended a bit farther east? The one to the north?
Yes, Burlington, parts of Burlington, Mercer, Monmouth, and Ocean till 7:45.
Okay, until 7:45. All right, so we're looking at the cell right around Trenton, New Jersey, the one that we were looking at, some of that rotation when we were showing you the reflectivities. They've been extended. The tornado warning has been extended. This is now east of Interstate 95. So we're looking at areas around Plumstead.
East at 40 miles an hour.
And it's moving east at 40 miles per hour. So if you're just joining us now, we are still on the air. We will be on the air until at least 7:45, or if we get any additional tornado warnings from the National Weather Service, we're going to be providing you with that latest life-saving information. And we are going to continue to look at the different products that we have to kind of dissect what's going on in the atmosphere right now. So looks like right over I-95 here, south and east of Trenton, we have some rotation there just to the north of Chesterfield. So again, what we're looking at here is the motions of the storm, where we're getting Doppler radar picking up any of that possible rotation. Sometimes people say when you have green and red together, there's something in between. Well, we could be looking at something in between, possibly a tornado just to the east of Interstate 95. So we're putting a tracker on this, moving due east at about 30 miles per hour. So we'll read off a few more communities. You want to make sure you're in your safe location if I read any of these places off. And when I read some of these places, they can also be townships, so just know that as well. So right now the time is 7:11. We're looking at 7:21 in Upper Freehold, 7:27 in Red Valley, 7:33 in Holmeston, and 7:37 in Woodare Estates. All right, so yeah, so we're looking at this area right in here where we could have a possible tornado. So again, these warnings that are coming to us from the National Weather Service, unlike the ones we got earlier this evening in Delaware, this has not been a visually confirmed tornado, but the signatures that we're seeing on the radar give us the idea that there's something going on here right now. So looking at things a little bit closer, you have Interstate 95 right here. You have North Crosswicks, and some of the roads that we're looking at: Yardville, Allentown Road, also Sawmill Road, Ellisdale Road, and then in the area of Allentown. So again, we're looking in New Jersey here for anybody that might be tuning in. As you hear me say that name, a tornado warning is in effect in this area, and this has been extended until 7:45.
So they're saying 70-mile-an-hour gusts within the whole line now with that severe warning for the thunderstorm warnings.
Okay.
Anywhere in the area.
Okay. So even areas that are not currently in the tornado warnings that we have here. I mentioned the fact that we're kind of getting somewhat of a line. These storms are kind of coming and congealing together and making one big line. It extends from Delaware all the way up into central New Jersey. This line is capable of producing winds gusting to 70 miles per hour. So if you've been with us this whole time and maybe you haven't been under a tornado warning, you still want to take these storms very seriously. We have the lightning threat, we have the heavy rain threat, and then we also have that damaging wind threat. And we've been talking about all day how the greatest threat was likely going to be damaging wind gusts. So here we're looking at another product showing us potential hail, and this particular core is just to the east of Trenton, New Jersey. This is probably the more impressive cells that I've seen this evening in terms of hail size. Most of the hail reports that have been coming in this evening that I was able to see when I was on the computer were about 1 inch or smaller in diameter. So right here in Robbinsville, you are in the worst part of the storm. It looks like areas east of Trenton right now are in the heart of the storm that again is capable of producing a tornado. So Paul, do we still have 2 tornado warnings at this point, just to get our bearings? Okay, so there's a wider view for you here. Where we have the red polygons are where we have the tornado warnings. So you can see this is east of Philadelphia. Philly International did pick up a 62-mile-per-hour wind gust, but we have tornado warning 1, tornado warning 2. So we're looking in Burlington County, and that tornado warning is until 7:30. It also can produce small hail under 1 inch in diameter. Then as we work our way here into, we have parts of Ocean County, Looks like Mercer County here, and then this warning also encompassing portions of northeastern Burlington County. So at this point right now, the tornado threats appear to be just over New Jersey. So southeastern Pennsylvania, at this point, you're mostly dealing with strong damaging wind gusts, thunder and lightning, maybe still a little bit of hail with some of those cells. As you can see, these thunderstorms continue to quickly race their way to the east. The reflectivities, where we get the bright bandings of the reds and oranges, that's an indication that we're dealing with some very heavy downpours and very intense thunderstorms. So here we have our southern tornado warning right now in New Jersey. And this is over Burlington County, so you can see in the area of Mount Laurel, Pemberton, also around Tabernacle. That cell's moving to the east right now. It's moving due east. Paul, have we gotten any reports of damage at all? Trees, wires down?
Not in these areas yet, no.
Okay, so that's a good thing. Hopefully people are in their safe location right now. We're putting a tracker on this. This is more of a squall line tracker, because how the storms are, as I mentioned, kind of congealing together into one line. This gives us an idea of looking at kind of a line of locations where they could be impacted. So here are some additional communities. 719 in Pemberton, so within the next 2 minutes, the worst of this is moving into your area. 725 in Browns Mills, 729 in Tabernacle, 738 in Manchester, and 741 in Crestwood Village. Again, this is in Burlington County, and then eventually this will be working its way into parts of Ocean County. It's just not there just yet.
This is showing the real strong winds,
Yeah.
like up to 70 miles an hour.
So what he's trying to show you here, not so much looking at the rotating aspect of the storm, but looking at the winds that are pushing their way to the east. So that's why the tornado warning that initially came out for parts of Bucks and Mercer County, it didn't just have the fact that this could produce a tornado. It also had verbiage for damaging wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour. So that's what we're watching right now, with the heart of this storm moving its way due east. So we're looking east of Trenton, New Jersey right now, in the area of Chesterfield and also upper Freehold, New Jersey. Likely very intense winds moving through your area right now, if not damaging straight line winds. Perhaps we could even be dealing with a tornado in this area. So that's what Paul's highlighting right now. Upper Freehold, I hope right now you're in your safe location, as we are seeing a pretty vivid signature on our velocity product here. So we'll track that area that we're seeing and look at it as it moves its way to the east. The time right now is 7:18, so you still have a couple of minutes if you live in any of these areas. 722 in Red Valley, 730 in Holmeston, 735 in Maryland, and 743 in Vista Center. If you're just joining us on the air right now, we are tracking a tornado warning that is in the state of New Jersey. So that's one of the warnings that we're looking at. At last check, we had 2 tornado warnings, so we can go ahead and see if we still have that second tornado warning over New Jersey. And we do. So that one, you can see, is moving over northern Ocean County right now, and it's really, the tornado threat is over for most of Mercer County. So again, that cell is moving east, and then we have the tornado warning due south of Trenton into Burlington County until 7:30. That secondary cell that we're watching into Ocean County until 7:45. So thank you for staying with us here on 6 ABC. We continue to follow the latest on the severe weather threat that's moving through our area. A line of thunderstorms that extend from Delaware all the way into central New Jersey that are producing strong, damaging wind gusts. This entire line here that you're seeing is capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We already had a report at Philly International over 60 miles per hour. So you would imagine with these storms, although your particular community might not be under a tornado warning, you are looking at the threat of damaging thunderstorms as they move east.
A new thunderstorm warning for basically the whole line, and that's for up to 70-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail.
Okay. So again, as we've been reiterating, it's not just the tornado threat that we're following in New Jersey. It's the fact that this entire line that's moving through parts of our viewing area is producing up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also nickel-size hail. So even if you're not under a tornado warning, you do want to be inside and away from windows because these are destructive enough winds that you could have problems where you live. So here's the area that we're looking at right now. The red polygons are where we have tornado warnings. The tornado warnings are only over the state of New Jersey right now, again in red. So we're going to zoom in and look at this particular warning here that's currently over Pemberton, New Jersey. So we're looking at Burlington County.
This is moving east at 45.
Okay, so it's moving east at 45 miles per hour. And if you hear me talking to anybody, it's my producer, Paul, who's providing me with some of the information that's coming in from the National Weather Service. So we want to get you the latest information on communities that are within the path of where this possible tornado could be moving through. And I say possible because we have not had any visual confirmation that has been sent in to the National Weather Service. You still want to treat it as if there is a tornado on the ground. So right now the time is 7:22, 7:26. This will be moving through Lower Mill, 7:30 in Country Lake Estates, Manchester at 7:43, Lacey at 7:46, and then we have Hilltop Estates at 7. The tornado threat is no longer in place. At this point, we have one tornado warning that continues until 7:30, and then another tornado warning that continues until 7:45. So until that threat is no longer there, we're going to be staying with you and making sure you will be staying safe. So I'm going to get a drink of water real quick, and we're going to continue to...
Can I just say what an unbelievably fantastic job you're doing, and Paul, thank you for coming in as well. All this kind of sprung up on us, and we are doing the best we can, getting all the information out there as quickly as we can. As Brittany takes a quick break and drinks a little bit of water because she's been talking for about an hour, once again, it's very, very important that you understand these safety tips to keep yourself safe, to keep your family safe as well. Please stay away from the second floor, stay away from windows. Most of the damage occurs on the second floor and near windows if, in fact, a tornado does touch down. To be clear, at this point, we only have reports of two tornadoes. Those were in the central to lower parts of Delaware. At this point, no confirmed reports of any tornadoes in our area, specifically here in the Delaware Valley, but there are warnings still in place, particularly at this point right now in New Jersey. So once again, avoid windows, go to the lowest floor of your home. If you don't have a basement, just seek shelter someplace that seems as safe as possible. But of course, if you do have a basement, please go there and cover up your head. That is the most important part of the aspect when you go down there, to cover up and make sure you're as protected as is possible. Of course, none of these safety tips are foolproof, but these are the situations you can put yourself into and your family to keep you as safe as possible. We have had several reports of hail across the region. We've had people sending in photographs from different parts of the region. It seems to be spotty at this point. No one direct area that got a concentration of it, but overall we've gotten several, one from Andorra that we did receive, and several others as well from across parts of the Delaware Valley. Now this threat is moving through quickly, but it is not over yet. Right now, once again, moving through parts of Pennsylvania, and this part of Pennsylvania in specific, and Delaware as well, moving on to New Jersey. Correct, Brittany?
That's correct. We're primarily looking at a large line of thunderstorms, but within that line, we do have the tornado threat that we're watching. Thank you, Walter, for giving me a chance to drink some water. Here's the area in orange. That is the severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued by the National Weather Service. And I had a chance to very quickly look at the chat from the National Weather Service. Anywhere that's in orange, they're tagging these severe thunderstorm warnings of being capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They're also tagging the damage threat as considerable. When you're looking at 70-mile-per-hour straight line winds, you're looking at just about the same amount of damage as what an EF0 or an EF1 tornado can produce. So there is a pretty significant threat for damaging straight line winds across much of our area. But where we're most concerned about the tornado threat is in New Jersey, and for our viewing area, that includes parts of northern Ocean County and then also into Burlington County. And then Paul, what's the county to the north? In Monmouth County. Okay, so technically we don't cover Monmouth County, but it's within our viewership area that there might be people watching right now, and we want to make sure that they also know what's going on with this tornado threat. As I just mentioned, this is a large line of thunderstorms that have been kind of congealing together here that extend from nearly Dover, Delaware, and you can see the line now east of Trenton, New Jersey. Earlier, Trenton was under a tornado threat. That is now no longer an issue. But in this line, again, from parts of Kent County, Delaware, all the way up into northwestern Ocean County and into Monmouth County, this entire line, you're looking at the threat of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then on top of that threat, you go into parts of New Jersey here into Ocean County. That is where we do have one of our tornado warnings right now. So you can see this warning into parts of Monmouth County, south of Manalapan, New Jersey. This is east of Interstate 95. So we're looking at the area right around just east of Upper Freehold, New Jersey, and northwest of Jackson. So what Paul went ahead and did is kind of giving you an area of where this potential tornado can be. We're tracking this cell as it moves its way to the east, and here you can see some of the communities that could be impacted by this storm capable of producing a tornado. So the first town, 728, that's right now, 738 in Howell, 743 in Ramtown, 749 in Neptune, and Allenhurst at 752. Again, we are tracking a storm that is capable of producing a tornado here. We're looking into areas of southern Monmouth County, New Jersey, and also into parts of northern Ocean County. Then we have this cell. This is the one that went through Trenton. Again, the tornado threat now east of Trenton, New Jersey. And it looks like we still have the warning, right, Paul? You just happened to take that off? Yes. Okay. So we still... Okay, so we're still waiting to get some of the updates from the National Weather Service on this particular cell, but for those that are around Pemberton, Tabernacle, New Jersey, you are still looking at the threat of this thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado, if not a tornado, up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts here. Again, this is into Burlington County, New Jersey. It's moving east at about 50 miles per hour, so we can look at some of the towns over the next 25 miles east of this cell. So a few more spots, 733 in Woodland, 736 in Woodmansee, Red Oak Grove at 740, Lacey at 747, and Waretown at 754. Again, the tornado warnings that are in effect right now are for New Jersey. Paul, that one cell to the south, I know it originally was until 7:30. Has the National Weather Service said anything about extending that particular warning?
There has been nothing mentioned yet.
Okay, so nothing has been mentioned yet. It's 7:29. The warning was set to expire at 7:30, so within the next minute or two, we should get an update if the cell over Burlington County will be allowed to expire or if they will extend it farther to the east. So we're going to await that information from the National Weather Service, and we're going to continue to look at a couple of different products on the air with you here to see where we might be dealing with any kind of rotation. Looking at it right now, nothing really pops out to me.
Very strong winds right in here.
Yeah, We're not really seeing any indication of rotation. We're just still seeing that wind threat, and that's why the National Weather Service continues to talk about the considerable damage that's possible with this line of thunderstorms that's moving its way to the east. So the worst of it now, you just went through it in Elk, you just went through it in Gloucester, but now places like Millville, New Jersey, get ready. It's going to get very windy there. Pittsgrove, also Winslow, as we track that line of thunderstorms that's kind of racing its way to the east here.
Trees down in Newark, the Newark area.
Newark, New Jersey.
Delaware.
Okay, we're getting reports of numerous trees down in Newark, Delaware. So, you know, we had the initial tornado activity that was into Sussex and Kent County. Now we have that line, and I keep referring to the line because look at all of these warnings that are in effect. The orange are our severe thunderstorm warnings, and this latest update shows me that the tornado warning that was in effect over Burlington County that was set to expire at 7:30 has expired. If the National Weather Service happens to reissue a warning, we'll let you know. But right now we just have one tornado warning that was just extended its way toward the coast here. So we're looking at Monmouth County and then into parts of northern Ocean County. A tornado warning until 7:45. I know that was the time, Paul, that the tornado was initially issued. Does it go all the way to the coast until 7:45?
Yes, this new one just came out. It's until 8 o'clock now.
Okay, so
Severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind now.
Okay, so the update that we're getting from the National Weather Service, just like when this was over Trenton, they're tagging it not just the threat for a tornado, but they're also covering for the threat of damaging straight line winds. So those 70-mile-per-hour gusts are also possible. The tornado warning now goes all the way to the coast of Ocean County and Monmouth County, and then this is until 8 o'clock. So once this gets offshore, you will no longer have the threat for a storm that could produce a tornado or those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So here. Okay, so what he's drawing here is a bow echo. Where we have the storm bowing is where we have the strongest of the winds that are pushing their way to the east. So that's why we're not just seeing the threat of the rotation in the atmosphere. We're also seeing that big push of wind to the east, and that is moving its way right toward Lakewood. All right, so we're looking at possible rotation here just to the north of Lakewood. So that would take us into, we're looking at Monmouth, or are we still in?
That's mainly Monmouth.
Okay, so this is mainly Monmouth County that we're looking at possible rotation being picked up by the radar. So we put a track on this. The cell is moving its way due east, so it'll be working its way off the coast. Some of the communities right now is 734. You're in the thick of it in Howell. 734 as well in Salem Hill, Squonkam 737, Wall at 742, and then Belmar at 745. So if you knew anybody that said, hey, it's a beautiful afternoon, let's go to the beach, let's walk outside, you want to make sure that they know that there is a threat for a tornado here as we watch this cell move its way to the east. We're not just looking at a tornado threat, heavy rainfall, lightning, also those damaging straight line wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. These thunderstorms have had a history of producing damaging wind gusts. We've already had reports across our region of downed trees and power lines over Delaware. So you can see as this is moving its way to the east, this is a 30-minute radar loop, and you can see how quickly these storms have already moved out of Newcastle County. You can see as they're moving through parts of Cumberland County right now. There's no tornado warning here, but you also have to be prepared for those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And what Paul is doing is kind of giving us an idea of how many lightning strikes there have been just within the last 15 or 20 minutes, I believe.
50 minutes.
All right, last 15 minutes. 70 lightning strikes. So we always say when thunder roars, go indoors. You don't have to be under a thunderstorm for lightning to strike you or somebody that you're with. You want to make sure that you are inside with these storms, as you have the lightning risk and then also the straight line wind risk. So we're tracking that here with this cell for the threat of straight line winds. Millville, New Jersey, 7:38, so in about 2 minutes. Hamilton, New Jersey, 7:41. Mullica at 7:50. Egg Harbor City, so getting toward the coast there, 7:55, and in Egg Harbor proper at 8:03. The communities that I just read off are where we're looking at the potential of this squall line, this wall of wind that's going to be pushing through your area that could cause considerable damage. This is not a tornado threat. This is a straight line wind threat with winds that could gust to as high as 70 miles per hour. Now, as we work our way a little bit farther north to our tornado warning that we're still tracking here, this is for New Jersey. This is the only tornado warning we have at this point, and this is for northern Ocean County and then also southern Monmouth County. And this is kind of the area that we're looking at, some of that rotation right in here. So kind of the southern part of Monmouth County there. We do have that rotation that's being depicted by our relative velocities. So we're getting the winds going toward and away from the radar, showing us where we could have potentially a tornado. At this point, we haven't had any confirmation from the National Weather Service that there has been a tornado, but you need to treat this as if there could be a tornado.
Had a 58-mile-an-hour wind gust at Lakehurst, right here near that area.
Okay, so right near this area, there was just a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust. So that's why we've not just been talking about the tornado threat, but that damaging wind threat as well. This particular area in southern Monmouth County, northern Ocean County, where we have that tornado warning, that is where you want to make sure you are in your safe place right now. So that cell has been extended all the way toward the coast. So at this point, the worst of it is east of Plumstead, New Jersey, also east of Manalapan, and you can see this warning goes all the way to the coast, and that is until 8 o'clock tonight. So a few other areas that are in that warning. It looks like, Paul, do we have another tornado warning south of that? Okay, so all of this is happening in real time as we're on the air with you. Another tornado warning. This is also until 8 o'clock? Okay, so this is, I believe, radar indicated. So what we're looking at is parts of Burlington County and also Ocean County. So kind of these warnings splitting the difference between Tom's River. So if you're just joining us right now, we have 2 tornado warnings that we're tracking over New Jersey. One of them over southern Monmouth and northern Ocean County, and then a newly issued tornado warning now for parts of Burlington and Ocean County here. So we're looking at this cell that's moving east at about 50 miles per hour. Not a lot of communities to populate for you here, but 7:46, this will be moving through the community of Lacey. So you have about 6 minutes to get down into your basement and into your safe spot, and then Waretown at 7:53. So we're watching these 2 tornado warnings that are moving their way right over, basically right over Long Beach Island, over the shore communities, which is why I mentioned earlier, hopefully everybody is weather alert. You can go to your safe spot. You can have the 6ABC app downloaded on your phone. You can stream us live from wherever you need to be. So the counties that we're looking at here, just to reiterate what's happening right now, we have a tornado warning for southern Monmouth County and northern Ocean County. That's tornado warning number 1. That's the one to the north here. That's until 8 o'clock. This can produce a tornado. It can also produce up to 1-inch hail. To the south of that, the National Weather Service just issued this tornado warning for parts of Burlington County And then this encompasses Ocean County all the way toward the coast here. So Long Beach Island also under that tornado warning. And as we look at what these cells have already done, there's reports of hail, as you can see here, throughout parts of Mercer County and going all the way into Bucks County.
Ewing, New Jersey, which is near Trenton, reported quarter-sized hail.
Okay, so Ewing, New Jersey, not too far away from Trenton, has produced some quarter-size hail. That's what you're seeing, some of the different colors here. The darker the color, the larger the hail that we've seen. So here you can see up to 3/4 of an inch hail size east of Trenton, possibly over an inch hail not too far away from Trenton. So these storms have produced hail. They've produced those damaging straight line winds, and then they're also posing the threat of tornadoes. So if you're just joining us right now, how about we expand it wide so we can just kind of give people an idea of where these storms are right now. The worst of the storms over for the Lehigh Valley. The worst of the storms now over for Wilmington. Philadelphia, it's still raining, but the severe weather threat is now to your east. So you can kind of follow this from Monmouth County through Ocean County and really just kind of follow the yellow brick road here, if you will. This entire area is where we're looking at the damaging wind threat, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which could lead to considerable damage. Also, look at all of the lightning here. This is lightning within the last 15 minutes, 196 lightning strikes. So that's also something that you want to make sure that you're staying safe from and indoors from. So we're still on the air tracking this line of thunderstorms that's moving through the area. And then, of course, where we've been very concerned is the tornado threat. At this point, I have not heard of any confirmed tornadoes coming in to the National Weather Service, but we still have to act as though these storms could produce a tornado. So where we have the red polygons into New Jersey, that is where there is the tornado threat. So that includes Burlington County and also into Ocean County.
This looks like it's getting ready to just move on.
That's what we want to see. Yeah, this area here that has been producing that bowing on the radar with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts within the cell is getting ready to work its way off the coast. That's one good thing about these storms. They've been moving very quickly today at about 50 miles per hour at times, but we still have that tornado threat until at least 8 o'clock. So you can see on your screen here where we have the tornado warnings, it's actually parts of Monmouth County, Ocean County, and Burlington County, if we can update that here. So, it looks like maybe there's just a sliver of that warning still in Mercer County. So I see why that's on the screen. So we have Monmouth and Ocean County here. 2 cells, 2 different tornado warnings. The tornado threat continues until 8 o'clock tonight. So as we look at things on a little bit of a wider perspective, you can see the line of severe thunderstorms that are continuing to move through areas like Dover, Delaware. We have those thunderstorms moving through parts of Cumberland County, pushing through Millville right now. This will also go all the way toward the coast. So Morris River at 7:45, 7:55 in Woodbine, 8:01 Egg Harbor, 8:05 in Pleasantville, and the Atlantic City area at 8:11. This area is not under a tornado warning, but we are looking at the threat of considerable damage with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this line of thunderstorms.
Had 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Okay, so Millville just had a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust. We had the report earlier when this line went through Philly International of 62-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then earlier this evening when we had that tornado warning in Sussex County, we had a 98-mile-per-hour wind gust reported at one of the weather stations. So we're talking about significant winds with these storms that are moving through the area. We're continuing to track the line of thunderstorms, and we're also tracking those tornado warnings that continue here. So If you're tuning in, or if you're still with us right now, we have no updates as far as if a tornado has been spotted visually. At this point at 7:45, I imagine it's dark outside right now. You really want to be in your safe location, because anything that happens at night adds to that damage factor and that dangerous factor a little bit more. Not only can you not see what's coming, there is a lot of rain and a lot of wind with this.
The cell in central Ocean County, they just re-updated the tornado warning till 8 o'clock. It continues till 8 o'clock.
Okay.
But they're still continuing the warning for the tornado and straight line wind damage of 70 miles an hour.
Okay, so my producer Paul's just updating me on some of the information that's coming in from the National Weather Service. This cell here over central Ocean County, they are going to continue the tornado warning. So they're still concerned that this can produce a tornado, which is why they are continuing it until 8 o'clock tonight. They're not just using the verbiage of tornado possible, they're also warning people that this poses the threat of considerable damage from straight line winds. So this is moving its way toward the coast, and you can see that Waretown at 7:50, you have a few minutes until the worst of this moves into your area, and 7:57 in Barnegat Light. So we're looking at Long Beach Island. I know it's a Saturday night. It was a beautiful day today. You need to be inside in your safe location as we continue to track these dangerous storms that are capable of producing a tornado. So that's what's happening right now with this cell in Ocean County. We also had the other tornado warning that also is getting very close to the coast here. The worst of this right now is over southern Monmouth County. And that, again, is also moving its way toward the coast. Heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning with this. This tornado warning also expiring at 8 o'clock tonight. All right, so okay, so my producer Paul and I are kind of discussing the fact that, yeah, we have the tornado threat to the north, but we're also getting a lot of those wind reports with the actual straight line winds with these with this bowing of this line of thunderstorms here that's continuing to move its way east and somewhat southeast here. So looking at Cumberland County, we mentioned Morris River not too long ago. This is now pushing through Dover, Delaware. So although this is kind of moving its way out of Delaware, there are still some communities here in South Jersey that are looking at that threat of damaging wind gusts. This, again, a straight line wind threat, not a tornado threat in this part of Delaware and New Jersey. But because we're looking at the potential of considerable straight line wind damage of 70 miles per hour or greater, we want to make sure that you know that your community could be impacted here by destructive winds. So just a couple of towns, 748 in Leesburg, Warner's Mill at 757, 802 in Dennis, Summers Point at 809, and then Ocean City at 814. That is the latest with the southern end of this squall line that's moving through Delaware and also through southern New Jersey. If we kind of, yeah, let's zoom out maybe just a little bit here to show where the progression of the line is. So for a lot of our viewing area, the worst of the severe weather is now ahead of you or behind you, if you will. So the Lehigh Valley, the severe weather threat, not a problem for you. Even Philadelphia, it's still raining lightly, but the squall line is now to your east. And really the only area that is dealing with the tornado threat is coastal communities in New Jersey. So that tornado warning continues until 8 o'clock tonight.
Southern Monmouth County, we had a report of ping pong size, so 1.5 inch.
Okay. Okay, so, you know, we've been showing you some of the different products. Southern Monmouth County has had a report of ping pong size hail. So think of ping pong balls coming down. That itself also causes some damage. And you can see the hail tracks within like the last 30 to 45 minutes. From Mercer County all the way into parts of Monmouth County, we've had small pea-size to quarter-size hail and now ping-pong-size hail in southern Monmouth County. So as we look at the very latest here on our radar, we still have 2 tornado warnings that are moving through parts of New Jersey, and that includes parts of Monmouth County and also Ocean County. So there you go. You can see where we have the red polygons, the tornado warnings that have been issued by the National Weather Service office in Mount Holly, New Jersey. These cells, we haven't had any visual confirmation of a tornado. They're capable of producing a tornado, but the wind aspect is the greatest issue that we've seen so far this evening. 8 o'clock tonight, this will be moving its way toward the coast. So we're looking at areas around Brick, New Jersey. We've also been looking at parts of Long Beach Island in that tornado warning too. And the community of Waretown, this is not too far from you at this point. So with a little bit of space that we have left before this moves offshore, we're going to put another track on it. It's 7:51 right now, and Waretown, I mentioned this is kind of knocking on your doorstep. It's getting ready to roll in. You can see here's Waretown, here's the worst of the winds and that tornado threat. 8:02 Surf City, so again getting toward Long Beach Island there, and 8:04 in Ship Bottom.
Brittany, if I can interject really quickly, as you'd expect, there are reports of power outages as of 7:45 tonight. PECO reporting 16,600 approximately. In Bucks County, that includes 9,800. In Chester County, 2,500 people without power. In Philadelphia County, 1,300. Atlantic City Electric, just shy of 1,600 customers without power. And Delmarva Power reporting 6,800 customers without power as at this time. And once again, this is all the result of this storm system moving through. This video right here is from Bridgeville, Delaware. This is towards the beginning of the cycle. This is something we received earlier this evening, and it shows the beginning of that one twister, correct, Brittany? There were 1 confirmed, 2 reported. Is that correct? Or the 2 confirmed?
So the only tornado that was confirmed was in Sussex and Kent County, Delaware. Okay,
and this is from a viewer who sent this in. This is just as it started forming earlier on before it touched down later on down the progression. So this is video coming in on Twitter from a viewer that sent us this with a direct link, and so we do appreciate that. This is video right here of the beginning of the formation of the 1 tornado that we have confirmed at this point.
Okay, and
this is also Bridgeville right here. I didn't see this before, so this is more video of the tornado that we have reported. I want to be clear, this is something that happened in the central to southern part of Delaware, not directly in what we consider to be the Delaware Valley, but as you can see, it touched down. This is a tornado, and the National Weather Service will be investigating this over the days to come. And this is something that started earlier on in this region, and that's the only confirmed tornado we have so far. There have been other parts of our region where we've had tornado warnings, tornado watches as well. To be perfectly clear, this is the one that we have confirmed in terms of visual confirmation and reports to the National Weather Service.
All right, thanks for that, Walter. And if you have any video that you want to safely send in to us, you can always submit that from our website. But we want to get to the very latest with what's going on right now. We still have 2 tornado warnings for Monmouth and also Ocean County. Right now, the time is 7:54. These tornado warnings are set to expire at 8 o'clock. So we're going to stay with you at least for the next 6 minutes until the National Weather Service allows these warnings to expire. And I was looking at some of the reports that were coming in to the National Weather Service. We've had some really destructive winds associated with this squall line as these thunderstorms have been racing their way to the coast. I just saw one report in Montgomery County of a 68-mile-per-hour wind gust. We had reports at Philly International of winds gusting to 62 miles per hour. Of course, when that tornado moved through Delaware, we had that 98-mile-per-hour wind gust report. So the National Weather Service continuing to have severe thunderstorm warnings here for these cells from Kent County, Delaware, really extending its way all the way into Ocean County. They're still using the wording that this poses the threat of considerable damage with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So although this area is not under a tornado warning, you have to consider the fact that this can cause just as much, if not more, damage as a tornado can. So we have a couple more communities here that we're going to populate for you as we look into southern New Jersey. Areas like Galloway at 7:58. This line of thunderstorms will be moving into your area. 8:02 in Egg Harbor, Atlantic City at 8:12, and Brigantine at 8:13. Hopefully anybody that might be out on this Saturday night, maybe you're out at dinner, wait it out. These storms are moving very quickly. Make sure you're staying inside and also away from windows with those considerable winds that are moving through right now. Also still a good amount of lightning here with this squall line that's moving its way from Kent County, Delaware, all the way into Ocean County.
65-mile-an-hour wind gust in Burlington County.
Okay, so in Burlington County, we just had a report of a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we've already had about a handful of reports now with winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. We also have that lightning that continues to be an issue here. Lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes or so. Over 100 lightning strikes. So we always use the expression when thunder roars, go indoors for good reason. Lightning, of course, can be deadly. So we're watching the lightning threat. Time now is 7:56. At last check, the National Weather Service has 2 tornado warnings. You can.
They did cancel that northern one.
Okay.
Just canceled it. It hasn't shown up yet in the system. They just canceled.
Okay, so this northern one right here that I'm circling, that has been canceled. It just hasn't cleared our system just yet. And then the southern one that's over, going to be moving over Waretown, that is set to expire at 8 o'clock. So we're going to stay on the air until at least that threat is no longer with us. And even once we go off the air, for these tornado warnings, know that the thunderstorm threat continues this evening, and that threat for those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts also continues. So here we are looking at Ocean County right now. The worst of it, south of Toms River, New Jersey, really Waretown is right in the heart of these thunderstorms. Also Surf City, this is going to be moving by you. Egg Harbor City, I can see that the storms are also moving through your area.
The tornado warning there for near Waretown was just expired as well, so everything's expired right now.
Okay, we are happy to report that the tornado threat no longer is there. We will break on the air if the National Weather Service issues any additional tornado warnings. Stay safe, everyone. I'm going to toss it back to Walter.
Meteorologist Brittany Boyer doing a yeoman's job. That was fantastic, Brittany. On the air since 6:15. That's one stellar job. Thank you. We now join the 10 Commandments already in progress. Please join us for Action News after the movie.